Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Digital Charlotte podcast, possibly changing the name later, but this is our first go. I am Bruce Clark.
And I am Andrew Au, and we're coming straight from the Knight School of Communication at the Queen's University of Charlotte.
Here we are, giving it a go on our first podcast. We're trying this out and seeing how we can leverage this platform to share our story, talk about the work we do around digital and media literacy, explain who the heck we even are.
Yeah, we do so many different things on a monthly, a yearly, a semesterly basis that we just felt like it was important for us to be able to document the things that we do, introduce you, who's the listener, to the people that we meet and the stories that we hear, because they are some amazing stories. So we feel like everyone should be able to enjoy them as well.
So I've been here 4 years, almost 4.5 years. How long have you been here now?
Since May 16. So
coming up on
my fourth year.
Coming up on your fourth year. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. It's easy to track when you work at a university because you just you wait for the freshman class and you just wait for that freshman to become a senior.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh yeah, that's 4 years.
So what do you think about, like, forget about the official definitions and things like that. Like, what are your thoughts about, you connect to mission and in other things that you've done before. So like,
Sure.
what connects you here? What drove you to be here, and what drives you to stay here as it relates to the work that we do?
Well, for me, Digital Charlotte appealed due to its very nature, its very mission of serving underserved communities, and then using technology as the tool, the bridge to be able to, for us as the organization, as the project of Digital Charlotte, to connect with those community members. There's a bunch of different organizations out there that focus on working with community members, and the way that they connect with those community members, range from sports to reading, literacy, to a bunch of different things. For me personally, technology, computers, is kind of my wheelhouse. So for me, I connected to Digital Charlotte based specifically on the fact that I was able to serve the communities of Charlotte, whether they're underserved or whether they feel like everything is being met. I was able to serve just the greater Charlotte community, and using the computers as a tool was kind of the easiest way for me to connect to others. Now, with that being said, like you mentioned, my previous work experience, I've had previous experience in previous jobs with the refugee community here in Charlotte. So my heart was always reaching out for that level of serving others. Back then, it was using the sport of soccer. Right now, like I mentioned, with computers, I feel like I'm able to connect on a greater level because I am not a soccer player. However, I do consider myself a technology nerd. So just being able to help others, whether it's as simple as turning on a computer, whether it's teaching them an easier shortcut on how to cut and copy and paste on a document, or whether it's just getting them to learn a new skill. All those things make me happy because I'm able to help others as they grow themselves, and using our own terminology, just empowering them to be better. The phrase that I've used a lot since my days of serving the refugee community is that our ceiling should be their floor. And that wherever we cannot go any further is where those that we're serving starts, where they begin, so that they can hit a newer ceiling, because we can't get there, but they are now equipped to do so. They're now empowered to do so.
Yeah, that's that line. I didn't think in that exact line, but that's what drew me into was the idea that the work we do. I think a lot of, and I'm not sitting here with mountains of data to prove this theory, but my thought was always that the work that community-based organizations were doing, and I'm speaking like really broad strokes here, so not about anybody specifically, but was like, let's help somebody take the next step. And the challenge with that is that we've created such equity issues in our community that the next step is still 6 steps, 10 steps, 30 steps behind where those of privilege are today. And that's not good enough to just give a next step. It doesn't solve the issue. It doesn't create,
Right.
it makes the people who are doing the work perhaps feel good and be able to pat themselves on the back and fall asleep at night. But to your point, and one of the reasons I think the work we do, especially around digital and media literacy, is so critical is because it has when we sit in a room and teach people, we're not teaching them on a computer from 20 years ago. We're teaching them on a computer that literally just came out of, likely is basically brand new, for not always brand new, but is the latest or the one generation old. It's what people still use today. And we're teaching them skills that are not the skills from 5 years ago because they're still 10 years behind, but we're teaching them the skills of right now. And to me, that goes to that point. And that's definitely share that same interest and passion and goal there. I love that line that their our ceiling is their floor.
Right. So you asked me, but how about you? What got you here to Digital Charlotte?
I mean, different path, but very similar things. An interest in technology, perhaps growing up in my age, and don't want to give that away, but in
We can
40 range.
Censor that out.
Yeah, but you grow up with learning technology and being I was oftentimes the first user of technology. I mean, remember working on the very first middle school newspaper on an Apple IIe. Nobody knew how to use it. We had to figure it out how to use the green screen and print something in black and white, right? And then coming to a point where you begin to work in other equity issues, specifically when I worked in politics and being in community in 2008 and a lot really in 2009 when I had the opportunity to manage Anthony Fox's campaign for the mayor's office his first time, and getting to go in all these different communities all over Charlotte, seeing and hearing and learning things about this community that I had never known prior. And this is going on my 14th year in Charlotte now or something like that. So, and it was an opportunity to serve community and do it similarly to what you said in a space that interests me. And that in 4 years has not changed. It's actually grown because of the proliferation of technology. We're talking about AI and artificial intelligence and augmented reality and 3D this and all of these things that most people, even me and others that are considered technology natives, we don't necessarily understand the impacts of these things. And how are those going to impact community? How are they going to impact us, our lives, and our ability to be happy and healthy? I mean, at the end of the day, those are the two things. I want to be happy and I want to be healthy. And in order to do that in a modern world, we're going to need to access technology.
All right. So I think that is a perfect place to end our first episode of our to be named Digital Charlotte podcast. We'll have something catchy and we'll have some fun intro music and whatever. But for now, I think just being able to talk about who we are, what we do, and then just us personally and why we essentially fell in love with Digital Charlotte and the work that we get to do. I think that's it's a great first place to go. And hopefully you'll be tuning in the future to kind of hear where we go from here. But we're hoping to get more guests on to tackle some subject matter of digital literacy, how to present it to organizations, how to present it to community members, even as far as just the type of curriculum that we go over, because that has been an interesting, evolving thing for ourselves in the 3 years that I've been here. So I'm excited to just bring the knowledge that we've gained and share it to everyone to everyone else.
Agreed, 100%.
All right. Well, this is Andrew Rao.
This is Bruce Clark.
And thank you for listening to the Digital Scholar Podcast.